everybody. This is Trader Drew coming at you from Songforce, and today we're going to do 8 minutes in an 8K with Upstart Holdings. So, what is Upstart? Upstart is a fintech that automates loans. Why is this important? Not only did they just 100% their share price today off of their report, which I'm about to break down, but they've also entered into a business where they're claiming they are the first proprietary AI company to automate loans. So let's break it down. Who are the founders? So why it's important to know who the founders, we want to know where they came from, what they're doing now, and what their mission is going forward. So it gives you an overview of the company. I want to know who they are and what they're all about. So we got David Gerard. He started at Apple as a product manager, went on to go to Google after that to build the cloud-based apps. He's known as the father of Google Enterprise, so it's a pretty big deal off the bat. His goal in founding Upstart was to build an algorithm for personal loans. Sounds kind of nerdy at first, but the mission is pretty much to help those that might have been skipped up in the traditional marketplace, that banks might say, oh, you don't have a good credit score, blah, 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 or you don't speak English, or maybe they're too intimidated to come to the bank in the first place. Upstart's going to solve that. So they're going to look at who you are as a person, not just your credit score. They're going to look at your repayment history over a course of time. They're going to look at all sorts of things to give you that loan. They want to give you that loan, but they're also going to vet you in a way that other banks just aren't. So keep going on who the founders are. He's a University of Michigan grad. He said he's actually moving. He started his HQ2 copying Amazon and moved it to Columbus, Ohio State's place. And I'll address later why I think that's a great move. Keep going. Got his Bachelor's of Engineering in Computer Engineering at Dartmouth. Great school. He's big on collaborative organization, green tech. It's all in our same wheelhouse, and humanity in general. So his biggest inspiration comes from Winston Churchill, and the reason I'm highlighting that is because Winston Churchill thought big. He was the guy who did the sinking of the ships to make a harbor in France. Who sinks ships to make a harbor? He did. He did a huge scale operation. So that's why I'm highlighting it. Think big. We've also got Pao Gu. Peter Thiel likes him as the 20 under 20. He's a big QFin guy. That's a great major to get in if you're looking at going to college and getting into something haven't decided yet. QFin, probably the most hard thing at James Madison where I went, but shout out to those guys. They're all crushing it. So he also graduated with Yale econ degree. Love economics. Also, we've got Anna Councilman as the people and operations leader. And I love this, that they founded a company with a woman, because it's so important to have a woman's perspective in leadership. You're not, most guys, they think, well, not most, but some, they think that there's no place. It's like, there's definitely a place. Even actually, I would say there's more of a place for women right now in finance than men, because look at where we brought it. But I'll allude to that in another video, breaking down what I look for potentially when I'm looking for companies. Right now, I'm just going to show you. She was big on culture and the customer experience. She was also at Google. She led the consumer operations. She grew the Gmail platform from 150 million users to 450 million users at her time there. Then Obama actually awarded her the White House Champion of Change Award, and she graduated top of her class at the BA in Finance. Like, that's not an easy major. So congrats to her. I'm glad she's on the team. More expanding. The board has 2 women, 6 men. Some potential diversity in here. And then also the rest of leadership. It's fairly balanced. I love to see that. So we're going to keep going into their actual statement. Now that you know who they are, what they do, let's see how this quarter panned out. So Upstart is a leading artificial intelligence lending platform. They announced yesterday, and a huge thing that happened was they became profitable. They showed how they're going to increase year over year, almost 2x. So they've expected, they had 124 million, I believe, in revenues last year. This year, 248. Next year, they're projecting 200 or 500 million in revenues. So you can see the exponential growth of this company. It's happening right now. And they say that their product is for you being a bank or a consumer, because it's predictable, profitable, and inclusive. So traditional bank lending, there's problems. Some people are just too intimidated to even come into a bank. It's scary sometimes. I've seen people do it. I work at a bank. So it's also, some people don't speak English. They're here in America, they don't speak English. How hard is it to get a loan and understand the terms of that loan when you don't speak English? What does Upstart do specifically? They're a leading artificial intelligence lending platform. They also reported profits, which is super rare in a fintech, and they're saying that they're the first proprietary technology when it comes to AI loan lending. Why is this important? They believe that all lending will go towards an AI-based model. And why? Because banking inherently has some bias. There's some reasons that people don't get loans that aren't fair. It's not right. And they're using AI to solve that. And the best thing is, it's predictable, it's profitable, and that point, it's inclusive. Everyone can apply. It doesn't matter if you're white, black, brown, you speak English or not. You can apply, and it's easy. So let's keep going here. They bought Prodigy. It's going to be their first acquisition as a company, and they're doing this to enhance their auto loan division. So how they go about their business is they look at people's rates, or they have someone who needs a new loan, and they say, okay, we're going to either beat that rate, or we're going to offer you a rate that you would have never even gotten an offer at another bank. Or maybe you would have, but this is a little bit better. And so they then take that loan, they originate it, they acquire, and they pass it on off to a partner bank. And this is where I see more people on the banking side getting into things. That's my job, but forget about that. For you, consumer, if you need a loan and you're worried about going to a bank and then turning you down, why don't you go on Upstart and see if maybe you can apply for one, or maybe you could qualify for something. I actually did it, and I'll speak straight up. I graduated college. I needed a little bit of money, and I'd spent most of my graduation, and I was in a pickle. I didn't have a job, and I said, okay, what are my options? And I found Upstart. I got a $1,000 loan. It was at 11% interest, and I was turned down pretty much by any credit card, any person. My credit was like 600. I had nothing. And I had no history, but Upstart said, we're going to take into consideration your education. We'll take into consideration that you've never missed a payment when you've had payments. We'll take into consideration your age, you were an econ major, that you got a 3.5 at JMU. We'll take all of that into consideration and then extend you that credit, because we believe 4 out of 5 Americans will repay their loans when given a chance. And only 1 in 5 are actually getting the opportunity to actually get those loans. So there's a huge gap in the two addressable markets. And I think that what they're doing is filling it. So they brought software into the loan system, into the loan process. And banks have no idea what's coming. They have no idea. The ones that are going to partner with this company are going to see increased profits. They're going to see reduced risk. They're going to see, among other things, just happier customers in general. It's a shame to have the system that we do where people won't get a loan even if they deserve one. We need to fill all of that. People should have the right to finance. They should have the right to credit if they're worthy, if they're credit worthy. And most banks don't understand who is credit worthy and who isn't, but Upstart does. They're taking the variables that other banks won't take into play or into consideration. So let's dive into their financial highlights. The revenues, $86.7 million. They're increasing 39% year over year in the fourth quarter. They're mostly getting those through fees. I believe there's about 2 million, somewhere around that are coming from elsewhere. Don't even worry about it. They're going for a fee-based business. They are going to take that loan that they just newly acquired, and then they're going to toss it off to their partnership bank. So they're not really holding any of the risk. They're putting the risk onto the bank. Great to invest. So their conversion rate, 17.4%. This is cool. So they've got a 2.5% increase on those who get on the website or the app, and then those who actually go through with the loan. So I think that's a really good retention number right there. You're seeing they're increasing it. More people are getting loans. They obviously like the website. So keep going in. Income from operations made $10.4 million, 196% year over year. Their net income, it actually dropped, and I'll highlight why later on. It's not a bad thing. Contribution profit was $41.4 million, 49%. This is incredible. It grew 77% in the fourth quarter. This is things you're not going to see in a bank. I'll tell you right there. Their fourth quarter adjusted EBITDA is going up 123% year over year. This is nuts. This is why you saw their share price go from $70, $60 to where I got it yesterday to $120 today. And the reason I know it was because I used them. I'm a big believer in investing in the things that I have on my phone, right? What are the apps that I have on my phone? Square. I've got Robinhood, which they haven't gone public yet, but I used Upstart. It was an app on my phone. These are the things. Snap. Like, I have apps on my phone. What am I using? What am I logging into day to day? Is it a profitable company, or can I see them being profitable in the future? Yeah. So I invest in them, and then I do deep dives like this. So the revenue, total revenue, this is a full year, $233.4 million. All right. And this is coming up. They were nothing like this. It was like 100-something million in 2019. You know, they're projecting 500 million in 2021. So you can see this business is growing up high. Their lending volume and conversion rate, they made 379 loans. You saw that, where was it? 123,396 came just in the fourth quarter. So I expect that this is like the pivotal moment. The share price went crazy today. And I'm not going to lie, I actually sold one of my shares. I was holding 10, sold one, hit an option that was woohoo. And yeah, I'm looking pretty with my Upstart, but I want you guys to get in too. I'm going to tell you, I don't know if you're going to find a cheaper price. I mean, we could have an overall sell-off in the market, but this company is incredible. I think it's a good time to get in regardless of where it sits today and regardless of the run-up that it had today. So the lending volume and conversion rate, they, like I said, 379 loans, 40% increase. We got 11.8 million from operations, 357. Like, this is better than Square. And you know how much I love Square. That's my number one. That's my baby. I would say that they're just in a position right now where they're growing more rapidly because they started off, they've got a smaller position to start off from. I think Square would have seen some of these numbers back when they were originally starting and right when they hit that growth peak. Here, we're seeing it right now. That's what I'm saying. You got to get in. So I want you guys to know what a couple of these things mean. So your conversion rate, how they define it, is the number of loans transacted in a period divided by the number of rate inquiries received. If you apply, right, you've got 1,000 people apply for the loans. You saw 17% were actually going through with it. So then you know that if you got 100,000, then you got 17,000 that actually made that loan. That's where they're getting that number. This one too, that should be right here, contribution profit. It's not a GAAP measure, so don't really rely on it for the profitability, but look for it to see the revenues in excess of variable expenses. So why I said the net income portion wasn't important up here is because they had $1 million due in $1 million decrease due to change in warrants. Basically, these are liabilities that they had to exercise. It decreases your net income. So they expected this. They didn't. It's not a surprise. We knew. Uh, Nobody took it into consideration. I wouldn't. This is their guidance, where I see them going, or where they see themselves going for 2021. And I'll just tell you, it's all amazing. So they had 5 partner banks in 2019. They had 15 partner banks in 2020. You get that 3x. I say 45 partner banks, the smart ones. Looking at you, Chesapeake. Looking at you, town. Get in there. Yeah, so if you want to reduce your risk, increase your profitability, and serve people in a better way financially, partner with Upstart. Well, they're reporting $112 to $118 million in revenue. That'll be a $25 to $31 million jump quarter over quarter, or quarter to quarter. Then we've got this decrease in contribution margin. I don't know why. Maybe they're increasing their R&D. I'll have to look into it. They didn't say anything on the call, but we'll keep going. They want to do $7.8 to $8.3 million in net income. So taking away that liability, those warrants, it's not as crazy as I thought it was, but it's still a very ambitious goal. I like it. If they can hit these numbers, oh my gosh, you're going to see a huge, huge jump in share price. This thing could hit like $300 a share. Revenue, $500 million for the full year. What? You saw it was a 43% increase for $224 million. We're going to see basically a 50% or 100% increase. We're going to see revenue at $500 million. What? They're going to increase it by $266 million. How? That's crazy. If they can, wow. I like that. And then you're dropping here and here. I think their costs are going a little up. So let's take a look at what they had. I put the earnings call notes in here sporadically. So I want to just circle back one time, see what they're all about. Monumental year for AI tech. This is coming straight from their CEO. He says we're a fee-based business that cares about the loans that we pass on. It's good for banks. Banks like to hear that. They bought Prodigy because of the refinancing potential in auto loans. They believe that many of those loans are mispriced. Probably some, I would say, less honorable, less value-based lenders out there probably screwed some people over, and Upstart's looking to fix it. They're saying you're paying too much. Your rates are too high. Why are you screwing over people? Let's make it fair. Let's make it transparent. Let's make it inclusive. And then at the end of the day, that'll be profitable. Doing the right thing wins in the long run. Upstart's doing the right thing. So they say that they bought that, which will save those who sign up for the service $72 a month over month. Think about what you can do with that $72. It's a trip out to the movies with your family. Take a girlfriend on a date. $72 from Upstart. Just by refinancing your loan, you're already paying the money. Why not pay less? And over the course of the time, you're saving $72 a month. If you have an auto loan, go check out Upstart. See what rate you can get. If you have any loan, any student loans, they do student loans too. So you can use this money for student loans. So if you can get a better rate, if you're getting screwed over on your rate, go check out Upstart. They say that credit in America is in a bad state. They're right. Like I said, 4 out of 5 Americans will repay, yet only 1 in 5 have access to the premium credit. This is a problem because banks right now have a ton of deposits. Everyone wants to keep the money safe. Our deposits at the bank I work for, it's gone up a lot. I think I'd like to say double, but I don't know exactly. That's probably overstating it. We'll say like 50 to 60% at least. That'll lowball in deposits for year over year. So we've got a lot of money, but then we're so tight on who we give it out to. Where it's like you got to have this credit score at this rating, and you got to be this person and employed this amount of time. It's like if we're so stringent, then we eliminate the people that do deserve the loans that will repay us back. but we're just being risk adverse. And I think it's the time to push forward. I don't like the idea that we're going to be sinking into a deep, gloomy recession, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, America's strong. We're going to keep going. We innovate, we adapt or adapt, right? Let's just choose to adapt. So keep going. Upstart can help and has shown to triple approval rates in partner banks. So you got 10 people. A bank will maybe give out one loan. That 10 people apply, a bank gives out one loan. Upstart says, actually, there's 2 more people in there that will end up paying you back, probably better than that one person you actually gave the loan to. And here's why. We're going to show you the data behind it. And how are they getting that? How are they making these acquisitions at such a high quality? It's because they have AI models. They're always improving. They have software and data investments that they're going to continue to do. It's one of their biggest expenses. They're crushing it in R&D. But the model that they have right now, it's got 1,000 to 1,500 unique variables. So think of like columns in Excel. That'll be your y-axis, yes. And then you've got your unique repayment events. So your x-axis. So if you multiply that, you've got 1,000 times 10, that's 10,000. 10,000 unique data points on each applicant, and that's the low ball. So if I had to look in the bank's loan department and how they do income verification, I would say maybe 1,000 unique data points on each applicant. They're 10xing your data points, which will result in a better understanding of who this applicant is and if they're going to repay it. And they actually did this. So it can predict income, default risk, profitability. They even can tell you when someone might default. What day will this person default? And how are we going to help them and fix it? Like, do they need to have a little intervention? Do they need financial coaching? That's where banks will step in. So they can use this data in things that I don't even think they know. So the pandemic, this has highlighted the companies that are going to succeed and the companies that are going to fail. If you're innovating, if you're adapting during this pandemic, then I see your company doing well in the future. If you're growing during this time, that's a great sign. I'm definitely looking for companies like I did with the recession back in 2008 when I started looking into companies. It's like, who's doing well through the bad times? So those are the companies that will eventually survive in the long run. They've got good core. They've got good values. People want to stick with them. They believe in the mission. So yeah, they've got impressive features that include discrete modeling, 1,000 to 1,500 unique variables. So your column side in Excel, and then 10 to 11 unique repayment events. What does that mean? So unique variables could be anything from income. You could have, like I said, GPA, education is all in there. And I can't even think of 1,000 right now, but they have, and it's going into their model, and it's helping generate more loans to people. Think about the more variables they have, the better off you are as a person who deserves credit. Like, because if you're saying like, hey, look, like I'm gonna repay you, I know I'm gonna do it, and I've lived a very I guess I've tried to do the right thing my whole life. I've repaid the money that I owe, and so these banks still won't give me a loan. And you're like, okay, Upstart, look at me, look at everything, take everything into consideration. And they're doing it. They got 1,000. I'd say normal banks, maybe 100. And then they've got 10 other unique repayment events, and that can be anything from you paying your phone bill, you paying your student loans on time, you paying anything where you owe money to someone on the internet that they can verify, they're including it. And it's going to only expand. Their model's only going to get better. So why invest in them? Why use them? They're going to grow. They're going to be partnering with banks. They've been tested through the pandemic. They've grown through the pandemic. They learned from the pandemic, and it's only made them a better company. So why also is this unique? 70% of the loans are approved in real time with little documentation. When I signed up, put my name, put my income, put my address, I put my debt, and then I got my money the next day. I also put why I needed it. And I said it was personal loan. There's no reason. I just wanted it because I felt insecure about my current financial status, and I got the money the next day. And like I said, it was $1,000 loan. I repaid it $100 every month. And then at the end, I paid a little bit more in interest, right? They got to make some money somewhere. Where are they coming up with these great ideas and paying the people to do that? They made a little bit of the money. I thought it was fair. I thought it was transparent. It was quick. It was easy. And then 58%, like I did, was on the phone. I did it through the phone. So why is this important? Because this is going to target the younger generation. This is where kids these days who are being denied normal credit lines that deserve credit, that are upstanding, respectful, and credit-worthy individuals, they're being denied, and Upstart's filling it. That's the younger generation, the ones that are in between the 620, 660 credit scores that are being denied loans. So if you need a loan, get some Upstart. This is more from the call. They signed 3 agreements. This is where I said they're going to get 45 bank partners, I predict, by the end of 2021. Fairness is key. Like I've been saying, it's all about inclusivity. It's about giving the people what they deserve. And what's fair, right? There shouldn't be bias in banking. It's not right. We need to have a more transparent system. And there shouldn't be some guy or some girl that gets to make a decision on whether you are financially stable or have the ability to become financially stable based off of a characteristic that has no importance to if you're going to pay back that loan. So I like them. They looked to create a Spanish version. They said if you don't know English and you go and apply for a loan at a bank, you're not going to understand the terms if they're written in English. It's hard enough to understand it when they're written in English. It's come on. So they're making a Spanish version because we've got a lot of Spanish-speaking people in this country. It's a great thing. I love diversity. We should accommodate, not look down upon, those who are a little different, right? Help, not hurt, not judge. So they're going to address a market that other banks aren't. And just like you saw with the civil rights movement, the companies that recognized the potential by advertising to the African American population, they did better. Look at what Pepsi did. Pepsi went straight for it. They said, hey, Coke's not addressing the African American market. Let's market to them. And look at where Pepsi is today. This is going to do the same thing with our Spanish-speaking citizens in America, right? Upstart's going to help them. 79% were completely automated. So when they send out those marketing dollars and then they get some loans back, that's so efficient. It's no human interaction with that. It's just their model doing the work. They've also shifted business strategies, right? So they said, first, we're going to have to provide our own funding. Many banks didn't want to partner with them at the first onset. So they did do their own loans. Now they acquire the loans, give it to the bank, eliminate their risk, great for investors, and take that little fee, take that acquisition fee, and that'll build over time when people realize this is the best place to go to get your personal loan. Like I said, we got $1 trillion in credit card debt as Americans, all paying maybe 21, 22% on our interest. That's high. It's crazy. They're going to say, let's convert that into personal loans at a lower rate, help the people reduce their credit card debt, and make a little profit from it. So going on with their good-hearted nature, they got a PPP loan and then said, hey, we don't actually need it. We did really well this year, and we're going to repay it. That's going to decrease their net income. They're telling us this. So don't freak out when you see it on their next report. Like many people do. It's gosh, they say it in the last one that they're going to do something. People still don't even realize it. It's crazy. They partnered with Intuit, specifically with their Credit Karma division, and that's a big portion of their lead volume. And they've addressed this. They said, look, we know that that's a big partnership for us. We want to create that big partnership, grow it, and then also replicate it through other people so that they're not relying just on Intuit. It's actually kind of scary, but I think that they'll be able to show why what they've done at Credit Karma can be replicated in other businesses, in other partnerships, relationships. So let's keep going, and then we're going to get into the numbers. My favorite part is where the numbers don't lie. All that stuff. I mean, I love Upstart, but for a normal company, don't listen to the words. Look at the numbers. They've got cash, lots of it, $206 million more year over year. Nuts. Loans, fee-based, so like I said, they're a fee-based company, not a hold to maturity. That's a loan concept for banking, where we say, if you have a loan, you issue it and then hold it, then you're holding it to maturity. Once they make their final payment, you're getting most of the funds or most of the profit. You're taking the risk. They say, hey, we're gonna decrease that amount. Fee-based company. They're not holding it to maturity. They're passing it along. So you can see this major reduction from 232 million, where they were funding their own loans, to now 78 million. And they expect that number to keep on decreasing year over year over year. I don't see them ever holding. They probably don't want to hold loans. They want to become that fee-based company. And they're doing it. They're doing it really well. Their total assets up 84 million. Love it, love it, love it. They're a growing company. They decreased their borrowing, 56 million. They said, we don't need your money. We got our own money. We don't need that. And look at the liability decrease. And you saw they've highlighted why they needed to decrease their liabilities, but you can see it, like, they don't need to borrow. They did increase their payable to investors. Great. I mean, they're paying back their investment. Love it. They've got things. Here's the biggest reason why, right? Payables, securitization notes. They paid it off. They don't need their liabilities. They're decreasing their liabilities. And we can see right here, $61 million deficit in 2019. They had negative equity. They were losing value. It was like we destroyed value almost. It's counting now. 300 million. That's equity now. You have equity. You have value in your company. They're saying the combination of all our efforts right now has been $300 million. And I love it. Like, that's something I've never seen. Not in a balance sheet ever. More numbers. I love it. Let's keep it going. So we've got our operations and income statement. The revenue, what matters from fees, don't think about this, is up 159 to 228. That's a $69 million increase, 43% growth. What the heck? And they say, hey, we're going to make $500 million. Or not make, but bring in $500 million in 2021. That's more than 2x. So I love it. That's really ambitious. Customer operations, not a huge increase. That's good. I like that. Or sales and marketing. They don't need to do a lot of sales and marketing now. They've upped it. They've ramped it up to a point where people know about them. And I think more and more people are going to end up knowing about them soon. Their income from operations, profit. They profited. I love it. Good sign that they had to increase provision for income taxes. Yeah, I mean, you're only getting taxed if you owe money to the government. You only get taxed on what you make. So if you see a company increase their provision for taxes, like, that's a good sign, actually. Not that I like paying taxes, but it's a good, healthy sign that the company is doing well. They're making more money, so they have to pay more taxes. There you can see their weighted average of shares outstanding. So 17,513,670 shares. Grab them all. And let's keep going. We got our statements of cash flows. So income statement, you got balance sheet, you got assets, liabilities, stockholders' equity, or shareholders' equity, I'm sorry. And then we got your income statement, shows where you're creating your funds, where you're generating your funds from. And then you have your cash flows. So how are you spending all the money? Where's all your cash going in the course of a year or a quarter? I hope that finds someone. I hope someone finds that beneficial. So let's keep going to your cash flows, the net income. They basically went from negative to the positive, same amount. They jumped 10 mil. They had paying employees in stock. It's a good sign that they're willing to accept it. Yeah, so if your employees are saying, hey, we would like stock-based compensation, that's a good sign saying that they believe in their company's mission and they think they're going to do well. I wouldn't be taking stock as compensation in a company I didn't believe in. So we're going to keep going. These will always cancel out, as you can see here. I just liked it because it's you can see the increase. Wow. They decrease their loans for sale, reduce the risk, and that won't be a big picture going forward. Like I said, able to investors, I'm not worried. They IPO'd, so we had a little bit of cash flow from the IPO, specifically $159 million. I hope somebody bought some shares in there. And then look at this cash. So over the course of a year, they had $122,000 at the start of 2019, decreased to $80,000, spent a lot of their cash. And then from $80,000 to $311,000, they made a ton of money and held on to it, or holding on to it. And I think they're going to use it to go out and invest, probably in R&D or acquiring another company, like you saw with Parity. So I think that's the end of my notes. And now I just want to take you into some of the research I found online. And where I did some of this was I looked at Experian. They're the ones who are doing the credit ratings. I also looked into some of the old articles. I set my search range on Google to like 2018 to 2019 so I could pull up some of the beginning company news articles, see where they were at the beginning stages. And then I cycled through. And then I pulled them out. So again, we're just going to reiterate what they do. They enable instant credit decisions with just a name, address, and income. Cool. Love it. Data supported for enhanced model accuracy, investing in software. Decision assistance for auto loans, personal loans, and student loans. Their conversion rate. They're converting rates from a higher rate to a lower rate. They're saving people money. That's a good thing. It's a good thing. If you got a rate out there that's above 10 to 15%, you might want to even go look into them. So the biggest thing right here, they don't need human capital. So their costs, their margins should go up, even though they say they're going down. I bet you they go up. And yeah, they match lenders' yields targets as a function of risk. So I bet you they're using some SAS in there, maybe some R. They're doing regression analysis here and creating functions, literally creating models and functions to what has this done? It's shown to say you have a 75% lower risk of defaulting if you pass an Upstart loan off than compared to a top tier bank. That's crazy. You're basically saying, banks, look, you're already doing this yourself. Let us do it, and we'll make it so that you have less risk at a higher profit. And if you're a bank out there and you're not thinking about partnering with Upstart, you're going to get passed up by the competition that does. So the Experian review was a big one for me, and it's kind of why I originally got into using Upstart. And now why I'm going to start investing in it, or did invest in it. They say that, look, Upstart's not for those who have good credit, right? It's for those who may not have credit. It might be those who don't even have good credit, and they might not charge an origination fee here. We're not going to treat you like a normal bank does. We're going to treat you fairly. And you come on to Upstart. We'll help you out. In 2017, the CFPB, they gave the company a no-action letter that allowed them to test using alternative data to evaluate applicants. This is crazy. Like, you don't see the CFPB issuing out these letters very often, and it's surprising to me that I didn't see this and hear about this earlier. But like I said, that's a great thing. It allows them to function as a lender and also use data that might be a little bit next generation, a little bit future tech, fintech. Let's go. So Upstart will consider your credit report scores, income, outstanding debt, how you plan to use the money, and other personal financial information. However, Upstart also considers alternative data, such as which college you went to, when did you graduate, what major did you have, did you get a good GPA, what were your standardized test scores, right? Like, how did you do on tests? I think it's more, not to say that like the nerds deserve money. I think it's more of a responsibility factor. Like those who get good grades tend to be a little bit more responsible. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe on average, you can ask Upstart. They know. So where are they addressing? 27% more applicants were approved for a loan. That's the whole goal here, people. We want to give people money. Banks want to give you money. They just want to make sure you're going to pay it back. And they're helping us grease those wheels a little bit. 27% more. So we're not risking enough. That's not good for banks. We want to, if you're not having some of your loans fail, you're not risking enough. And they're saying we got 27% of people out here that you're not extending credit to. You guys are all doing it wrong. So, I mean, on average, right? So I think that's the biggest thing. It's going to equate to more people having the opportunity. It's not to say that you're going to be financially successful, but having the opportunity to be financially successful. That's a big portion. That's like a belief in America. We should all have the opportunity to use our own merits, our own skills, and our hard work, dedication, and effort to succeed. It's not right for banks to be biased and say, no, you're not allowed to have this money because you look like this, or you don't have a husband, or whatever here and there. Like, yeah, you didn't go to the school that I like. I'm an Ohio State fan. You went to Michigan. Like, no, everyone deserves the opportunity to succeed, right? It shouldn't be based on anything but merit. So they're going to help that. And they're addressing that 620 to 660 FICO credit score range, and most likely they're going to be a young applicant. They're 32% more likely to get a loan than if the young applicant went to a bank. That's huge. All this is saying, like, we're approving people that you should have approved, but you passed up on because you're just not doing the research, not taking in the considerations that we're doing. So I really like them. And then the biggest thing here is, like, why use them? There's a lot of others, SoFi, there's other things out there that probably could give you a comparable rate. But Upstart, they're going to approve more people, and they're also going to give you your money faster, which ends up being a happy user, which means that user might come back, which might regenerate growth. You're going to see people talking about them. I know my friends and I have talked about them. Say, like, hey, if you need something, go look at Upstart. Like, it might be a good idea. I'm not saying do it. I'm saying check it out. You might save yourself some money, $72 on average for some people, most on them. And it says about 99% of its personal loans get sent to applicants the next business day. Like, if you need your money, you need it now. Don't call JG Wentworth. Call Upstart. All right. So let's also see. I told you I was going to address this. They went to Columbus, Ohio for their HQ2. And why I believe this is important is because most of these Silicon Valley people, they like to stay in their little bubble of Silicon Valley, create their little technology, and do things to change the world. And they are, right? That's not always for the good. Like, take Mark Zuckerberg, for example. Not the nicest guy. Like, literally turning all of our parents against each other. It's crazy. But, like, they're actually helping people. And they said, let's not stay in that little bubble of Silicon Valley where we're nice and comfortable. Let's get into it. Where's the market that needs our help most? And from a person who has family in Ohio, goes to Ohio every year, and knows what the area looks like, I would say they picked the best place for their HQ2. Columbus, not the worst off in Ohio, probably one of the better cities, right? But like where my family's from, Warren, Ohio, next to Youngstown in Akron. It's the Rust Belt in its entirety. Like, we've got all these jobs that have left. That's not to say that there's some young entrepreneurs out there that deserve a chance to succeed. They're just not getting funding because maybe they didn't have the rich daddy or rich parents to give them a cosigner or whatever. They're getting skipped up when they could repay that loan, and then that loan could enable them to be successful in the future. So they went to Columbus to help out these people. I'm thinking about my cousins. Like, shoot, they're some of the most innovative, smart people I know, creating awesome magazines. Shout out Stank. Hold on one sec. Shout out Stank, Timmy and Jacob, like bros out there killing it, making Netflix shows. Geez, they're out of Ohio. They're innovative. Why aren't they having the same opportunity to loans that most other people do? Right? Right? It's like you can't discriminate based off of location. You can't discriminate based off of characteristics that don't matter. You should look at merit. And if you were to look at merit, like Upstart is, you'd say maybe these guys deserve a loan. They're ex-Googlers, right? They're thinking outside the box. Like, they want to help. And they said, this is the best way we can. We'll eliminate bias within banking. So, here we go. The last thing I want to say is, why did they become successful? And you can see this with probably the best companies out there. It's innovation stacks. And that means they are acquiring human capital at a rate and at a level that other companies aren't. And what does that really mean? Okay, they went and got the best guys in all the fields that they're trying to compete in, put them on the company and said, hey, where are we going to get these from? We're going to partner with the schools. So we'll catch them when they're like a freshman, sophomore in college before they really know what's out there. And we'll get them in working for our company. They're finding these people because they're partnering with the schools. And that's the best thing to do. Go get them when they're young and then train them, help them become the best that they can be. So they've got the innovation stack. They've got the revenue growth. They've got the industry. They've got the AI technology. It's all pointing up for Upstart. Thank you for listening, and I hope you guys have a good night.